411 on outdoor warning sirens. Know your parish. Our outdoor warning siren.
Maybe they working on it again, because they had been working on it.
Good evening and welcome to the St. Charles Parish Council meeting on Monday, February 24th, 2025 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers in the parish courthouse. Please silence all electronic devices and remove all hats. This meeting is called to order with a prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance from Pastor Peyton Quinto with First Baptist Church in Luling.
Let's pray. Dear Lord, thank you for this time that we could just be here. God, I pray that we can just take a moment to realize who we are in the presence of, Lord, and that is the Almighty God, creator of the universe. Thank you for what you've done, God, through the cross of Christ, through Jesus, and how his death has saved us from sin, Lord. I want to pray that you can guide the council members here today, Lord, in their decision making, Lord, that you can continue to give them wisdom to lead St. Charles Parish, Lord, and I pray that we as residents, Lord, can do what we can to serve them as they also serve us, Lord. Thank you for who you are. I pray that we are reminded of your grace, your mercy, your love, your peace, and your justice, Lord. It's in your name I pray. Amen. Amen. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Quinto. Approval of the minutes, a motion and a second are needed to approve the minutes from the regular meeting of May 10th, 2025. I have a motion from Councilman Fisher, second from Councilman Pellier. Please cast your votes. And that passes unanimously. Special business, proclamations, canvass returns, etc. File number 2025-0035, recognition, Crew of G Old Timers Day. Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Proclamation: on Thursday, February 27, 2025, the Crew of G Old Timers will hold its annual Mardi Gras dance at the Edward A. Dufresne Community Center, Judge Edward Dufresne Parkway, Luling, Louisiana. And whereas this dance is traditionally enjoyed by hundreds of senior citizens of St. Charles Parish each year for a day of fellowship and festivity. And whereas this event is sponsored and organized by the St. Charles Parish Council on Aging and the St. Charles Parish Department of Recreation, primetime seniors, their staff, and volunteers that make this event possible. And whereas the residents and senior citizens of St. Charles Parish are truly grateful for their dedication and hard work, now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby proclaim Thursday, February 27th, 2025, as Crew of G Old Timers Day. Be it further resolved that on behalf of the citizens of St. Charles Parish, we do hereby extend our sincere thanks and appreciation to the St. Charles Parish Council on Aging, St. Charles Parish Department of Parks and Recreation, primetime seniors, staff members, and volunteers for their contributions to the Crew of G Old Timers. Today, to accept this proclamation, we have Ms. April Keller of the St. Charles Parish, Council on Aging, and Dwayne Forey on behalf of the Department of Parks and Recreation and primetime seniors.
So thank you, Madam Chair, members of the council, and Parish President Jews. We are excited to host this annual dance. It has really become a treasured event that our seniors get to enjoy. In the last few years, we have been partnering with the Satellite Center, where the kids come serve our seniors. It really has made a tremendous impact, not only to the kids, but also our seniors. And once again, we have the band sponsored by St. Charles Parish School Foundation and the United Way of St. Charles. So we'll have live music, a lot of dancing, and a lot of fun. So I want to thank you for your support and that, and invite all our seniors to come out and enjoy themselves. Thank you very much.
This will be our 13th year. We're gonna have good food, music. We're gonna have a spirit contest, so y'all come out in your Mardi Gras costume, your favorite Mardi Gras outfit, and join us for fun. Thank you.
Okay. File number 2025-0036, proclamation, Hardline Mardi Gras Fest. Ms. Giba.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Whereas the youth group at First Baptist Church of Luling is sponsoring its annual Hardline Mardi Gras Fest fundraiser, and whereas food will be for sale for the Crew of Lul parade goers on Saturday, March 1st, 2025, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., and whereas the focus of the Hardline group at First Baptist Church of Luling is to reach the youth of St. Charles Parish and spread the message and good news about Jesus Christ. And whereas the First Baptist Church of Luling invites everyone to stop by the church at 921 Paul Mallard Road in Luling and enjoy great food and fellowship. Now therefore be it resolved, we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby proclaim Saturday, March 1st, 2025 as Hardline Mardi Gras Fest in St. Charles Parish and encourage all citizens to attend the festival. And we have Pastor Peyton Quinto to accept.
Yeah, we're just really excited for this fundraiser that we're putting on over at FBC Luling. It's a way for the youth group there, the students that I get to be pastor over, just to raise some money for summer camp that they go on. Also, it's just a place where people are welcome to come and hang out too. We'll be having a spot. I mean, we're right there on Paul Mallard, so parade goes right past us, so it's a great spot for people to come and just hang out and just enjoy some family time. So yeah, thank you all. Yeah, we're really blessed.
All right, thank you, Pastor Quinto. File number 2025-0037, proclamation, Crew of Lul Day. Ms. Skiba.
Whereas on Saturday, March 1st, 2025 at noon, the Crew of Lul will celebrate its 48th annual Mardi Gras parade through the streets of Luling. And whereas the Crew of Lul parade is traditionally enjoyed by thousands of citizens that line the parade route every year for a day of fellowship and festivity. And whereas this event is organized and directed by Miss Wanda Candies, Mr. Russell Love, Miss Debbie Dufresne-Vial, Mr. Randy Love, Miss Quincy Berthelot, Miss Beth Landry, Mr. Garrett Love, Miss Diana Love, Miss Carly Love, and Mr. Lloyd Landry IV, 10 citizens who give of their time and talent to make this event possible. And whereas the residents of St. Charles Parish are truly grateful for their dedication and hard work. Now therefore be it resolved, we the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President do hereby proclaim Saturday, March 1st, 2025 as Crew of Lul Day. Be it further resolved that Saturday, March 1st, 2025 is hereby declared a day of fun and festivity in St. Charles Parish. Be it further resolved, on behalf of the citizens of St. Charles Parish, we do hereby extend our sincere thanks and appreciation to Miss Wanda Candies, Mr. Russell Love, Miss Debbie Dufresne-Vial, Mr. Randy Love, Miss Quincy Berthelot, Miss Beth Landry, Mr. Garrett Love, Miss Diana Love, Miss Carly Love, and Mr. Lloyd Landry IV for their contributions to the crew of Lul. And we have Mrs. Debbie Dufresne-Vial and other board members to accept, and I'm not reading all those names again.
One more. I don't know why the flash isn't working. That's you. It caught it though.
She got it.
I got it. I got 3 of them.
Thank you very much for recognizing the crew of Lul. As she mentioned, this is our 48th year of the organization. This past Saturday, we had a wonderful ball where we celebrated our royalty, and I know you were there. It was a wonderful event, and if you were there, you know that our royalty knows how to have a lot of fun. They danced the whole night away, and so we're looking forward to Saturday. We're going to have some beautiful weather, and we just want to thank you for your support and invite everybody out. This year, I'm excited to say we have 30 floats in the lineup, which is the most we've had in several years since pre-COVID. So please come on out and enjoy the day. Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Councilwoman DeBrulier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to comment that I was in attendance on Saturday. The ball was amazing, lots of fun. It was very organized. Food was wonderful. It was a great time by all, and it looked like it was a pretty sold-out event. So thank you for all of your hard work, and looking forward to the parade on Saturday.
Thank you, Mr. Rouillet, and thank you, everyone. File number 2025-0038, in recognition, Mr. Stanley Roy Dufresne and Ms. Sandra Bernard Dufresne, 2025 King and Queen, Crew of Lul. Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairwoman, and I'll echo to everybody involved in the Crew of Luling how much work goes into it. Seems like such a maybe minor thing to set up a parade, but those who get involved in it realize just how big of a task it is, and you all do a great job. Thanks for your dedication. But we are here today to honor our king and queen and our royalty of the Crew of Lul, the 2025 Crew of Lul, Mr. Stanley Roy Dufresne and Miss Sandra Dufresne. On behalf of the citizens of St. Charles Parish, I am honored to present you the 2025 King and Queen of the Crew of Lul, the Scroll of St. Charles Parish, on Saturday, in the Key of St. Charles Parish. On Saturday, March 1st, 2025, you shall reign as king and queen of fun and festivity. As your royal subjects, we request that you suspend all daily labors, fees, and any other impediments that may interfere with public enjoyment. We request that you cancel all cares and quarrels, directing every effort toward fun and merrymaking without confusing Mardi Gras with other issues. We look forward to your reign on a bright and beautiful day in St. Charles Parish. Congratulations, best wishes for an exciting and memorable day. All hail the King and Queen.
Nice sweatshirts. Your sweatshirts. Now you know Stanley Roy's going to say something.
Every good king needs a good queen.
Right about that. Council Chairwoman, council members, Parish President Jewell, it's a pleasure and an honor. We're humbled by the crew of Lou even requesting that we serve as royalty. I'd like to, at least at this point, mention a close friend of mine, Vernon Higgins. His idea was to start the crew of Lou some years back, but it was a quest for him because he couldn't get over how the Zalmans had a parade.
And Luland
did. And he was talking to two of the Zalmans boys who married girls from Luland. He said, y'all come get your women over here. We're going to have us a parade. So to Vernon Higgins, in his memory, he put it together and it's still today more vibrant and it's wonderful. It's a great civic event. So I want to thank all of y'all for the recognition. Thank all the members of the crew of Lou for putting this together because it is a task. They do it lovingly, with pride, and they do it with great accomplishment. And because I haven't read through what all powers I've been bestowed with.
I'm keeping the key.
She'll keep the key, but I'm going to read through it. And Parish President, if it gives me the authority, I'm going to see if I can't make you a prince. Thank you.
Thank you.
All hail the king and queen.
All right, thank you, Mr. and Ms. Dufresne. File number 2025-0039, in recognition, Ms. Laurel Gonzalez, 2025 Grand Marshal, Crew of Lowell. Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairwoman. 2025 Crew of Lowell, Ms. Laurel Gonzalez, on behalf of the citizens of St. Charles Parish, I am honored to present you the 2025 Grand Marshal of the Crew of Lowell, the Scroll of St. Charles Parish. On Saturday, March 1st, 2025, you shall perform your duties as Grand Marshal of the Crew of Lowell and bring joy and merriment to the citizens of St. Charles Parish. It is because of your wisdom and fine character that you were chosen Grand Marshal, and everyone in St. Charles Parish will pass a good time because of your endeavors. I have a gift for you to show you our appreciation, congratulations, and best wishes on that day and every day to come.
Thank you so much for the honor. I want to thank the parade committee who have done a wonderful job setting this up. The ball was absolutely wonderful. Had a fun time. Yeah, I was on a dance floor a little while, and the legs were hurting the next day. Anyways, a pleasure to do this, and I'm looking forward to Saturday. Hopefully the weather cooperates. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez. File number 2025-0040, proclamation, Crew of DeZalman's Day. Mr. Commodell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Whereas on Sunday, March 2nd, 2025, at 1 p.m., the Crew of DeZalmans will parade through the streets of DeZalmans. And whereas the community of DeZalmans has enjoyed a carnival parade for over 60 years. And whereas the community event is organized and directed by a group of citizens who give their time and talent to make this event possible. And whereas the residents of St. Charles Parish are truly grateful for their dedication and hard work. Now therefore, be it resolved, we the members of St. Charles Parish Council, Parish President, do hereby proclaim Sunday, March 2nd, 2025 as Crew of DeZalmans Day. Be it further resolved, Sunday, March 2nd, 2025 is hereby declared a day of fun and festivity in St. Charles Parish.
And be it further resolved on the behalf of the citizens of St. Charles Parish, we do hereby extend our sincere thank you and appreciation to the group of citizens for their contributions to the crew of Diamond's. Miss Mitzi P.T., Janet Terrio, Cherry Falls, Lynn Pickett, Amanda Wedge, and Paula Wilson will be here to accept the award. Proclamation.
Missing 41.
Just want to thank y'all for this year's proclamation. We are definitely ready to roll, and I'll point out, we have relatives. So both parades are family-oriented this year. So a lot of royalty in that line. So thank y'all. We hope to see y'all along the route.
Thank you. File number 2025-0041, in recognition, Mr. Harry O'Quinn and Ms. Faye O'Quinn, Faye Mathern O'Quinn, 2025 King and Queen Crew of Disalmons. Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairwoman. 2025 Crew of Disalmons. Mr. Harry O'Quinn and Mrs. Faye Mathern O'Quinn, on behalf of the citizens of St. Charles Parish, I'm honored to present you the 2025 King and Queen of the Crew of Disalmons, the Scroll of St. Charles Parish, and the Key of St. Charles Parish. On Sunday, March 2nd, 2025, you shall reign as King and Queen of fun and festivity. As your royal subjects, we request that you suspend all daily labors, fees, and any other impediments that may interfere with public enjoyment. We request that you cancel all cares and quarrels, directing every effort towards towards fun and merrymaking without confusing Mardi Gras with other issues. We look forward to your reign on a bright and beautiful day in St. Charles Parish. Congratulations and best wishes for an exciting and memorable day.
Thank the council for the proclamation. I know myself, I'll make sure we're gonna have good merriment in this for this holiday, this Mardi Gras season. And I thank y'all.
All hail the King and Queen.
Thank you, Mr. and Ms. O'Quinn. File number 2025-0042, in recognition, Mr. Willie Bado, 2025 Grand Marshal Crew of Disalmons. Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairwoman. 2025 Crew of Disalmons, Mr. Willie Bado, on behalf of the citizens of St. Charles Parish, I'm honored to present you the 2025 Grand Marshal of the Crew of Disalmons, the Scroll of St. Charles Parish. On Sunday, March 2nd, 2025, you shall perform your duties as Grand Marshal of the Crew of Disalmons and bring joy and merriment to the citizens of St. Charles Parish. It is because of your wisdom and fine character that you were chosen Grand Marshal, and everyone in St. Charles Parish will pass a good time because of your endeavors. I have a gift for you to show our appreciation. Congratulations, best wishes on that day and every day to follow.
Do y'all mind scooting just a little bit? Thank you.
Squeeze right here. I want to thank the council. I want to thank all the members of this organization for giving me the honor of being the Grand Marshal. I hope I don't have to make too many arrests on that day, but I thank you guys and looking forward to see everybody out there. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Batto. I'd like to also recognize that we have State Representative Sylvia Taylor here in attendance tonight. Thank you, Ms. Taylor, for being here. Okay, file number 2025-0043, Peanut Butter Collection Drive. Mr. Jarrett Fuselier, AVP of Nursing, St. Charles Parish Hospital. What time is it? It's peanut butter time. St. Charles Parish Hospital will once again be sponsoring the peanut butter collection at this year's Crew of Lowell Parade. All peanut butter collected will be donated to local food banks within the parish to help stock their food pantries. Crew of Lowell is Saturday, March 1st, 2025 at 12 p.m. Please show your support by bringing a jar of peanut butter to the parade or drop one at the hospital gift shop now through Mardi Gras week. And come on up.
Council, Mr. President, thank you all for having us here. We're celebrating our 32nd year of really collecting peanut butter to help Matthew 2535 Ministries. It's really a great time to bring awareness to the needs of the residents in our parish. Brought Miss Mary Ann Schindler along this year to say a few words about Matthew 2535.
I wanted to just thank everyone from the council that collects the peanut butter, from the hospital, from the entire community. The past 6 months, the amount of food that we're receiving from Second Harvest and other places has declined, while the amount of clients that are needing food have really increased. So things like this, and peanut butter is something we try to put in every bag that goes out. We also have started, via the counselors from the school system, a backpack program for the middle school, because they're not covered just elementary as through the normal backpack program. So some of the counselors have identified, and we try to make sure that each week we at least get a jar of peanut butter in all the backpacks that we service, as well as some other things. So this is very, very important to the people in the community. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Peanut, Mr. Fuselier, and Ms. Schindler. File number 2025-0044, proclamation, Disability Awareness Month in St. Charles Parish. Ms. Skiba.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Whereas the Arc of St. Charles is a nonprofit organization committed to providing services and support that enable people of all ages with developmental and intellectual disabilities and special needs to attain their full potential. And whereas the ARC strives to promote and maintain a high level of professionalism in all areas and to maximize all resources, human and financial, in the interest of helping all persons they serve lead fulfilling and rewarding lives. And whereas the ARC includes over 140,000 members affiliated through more than 650 state and local chapters across the nation, and whereas it is important that every individual and family affected by intellectual and developmental disabilities have access to information, advocacy, and skills they need to participate as active members in their community and to live an ordinary, decent American life. And whereas people with intellectual and developmental disabilities and their families are valued, respected, and included in all communities, they direct their own lives and can choose services and support from many available sources. And they are empowered through nonprofit advocacy. State and federal governments administer programs and set a budget that meet everyone's needs. Now, therefore, be it resolved, we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby proclaim the month of March 2025 as Disability Awareness Month in St. Charles Parish. Be it further resolved, we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby urge that the citizens of St. Charles Parish give full support to efforts toward enabling people with intellectual and developmental disabilities to live productive lives and achieve their potential. And I know we have Miss Victoria Bryant, Malcolm Moore, and Jenna, and some other friends here to accept.
No, it works when I want to. The flash. I'm gonna try one more. Yeah. Just the flash.
It's selective.
Yeah.
Again, thank you to our council and parish president for having us. We continue to thank you all for acknowledging March's Disability Awareness Month every year, acknowledge the supports that we need, and you guys have been there all the time. And so I'm glad to have Mr. Mack, who is our direct support professional behind the scene. He's one of the staff that work with the males at the ARC, and so he plays an intricate role with our guys, and people rarely get to see Mac, but he was awarded with the State DSP of the Year in Baton Rouge, so we're proud of Mac for that. Congratulations. And I also have our People First group of St. Charles Parish, Malcolm, who is our president, Jenna, who's the secretary, but today we have Christopher, and Christopher is the vice president of People First, and you rarely get to see Christopher, so I'm going to let them speak instead of our other guys, Christopher and his mom. He's a little nervous.
Hello, my name is Christopher. I got to but okay. About Santa. So, yeah.
I've made a lot of new friends at the ARC, and I am the vice president of the People's First. I enjoy hanging out with my friends. I will make a difference in the ARC. I feel we can do so much if given the chance. We are a team. Together we can do anything. I'd like for us at the ARC to have more opportunities in the future in our lives. Thank you. I'm Christopher, Mom.
Mom.
What can I say about the ARC? They are a blessing. Christopher calls the Ark his second family. If he doesn't get to go, if something happens during the night and he can't go the next day, I'm dog meat. And he lets me know the whole day, Mama, I need to go. They depend on me. And he depends on them. Can't say enough about Mr. Max. Mr. Max is absolutely God-given to us. He took on Christopher. He understands Christopher. As you can see, he had a stroke and his verbal is not very good. But Mr. Mack understands him. Miss Victoria has given us a blessing for my husband and I to give to Christopher a chance to be away from his mom and daddy because he don't want to be around mom and daddy 24/7. So this is his time, and he wants to grow. And I can't say enough, and we thank you for having the Ark, and we just want to improve on everything that he does. And he's only limited by himself. There's nothing this child can't do. They said he wouldn't walk, he wouldn't talk, and he would be a vegetable.
What?
Well,
Thank you all.
thank you.
Thank you.
What? Why are you so bad, baby? Did I embarrass
All right, thank you, Ms. Bryant and Mr. Max and all of the People First members and Christopher's mom. File number 2025-0045, proclamation, Lions Month in St. Charles Parish. Proclamation. Whereas through services, Lions clubs have impacted the lives of millions of people, and whereas the Lions engage our youth by helping to organize and participate in service projects, which may include school or community facility cleanups, or a visit to a home for senior citizens or a children's hospital. And whereas the Lions share the vision by planning vision health projects and working with the visually impaired, by organizing vision screenings, by volunteering at nearby Lions eyeglass recycling centers, and by organizing an eyeglass collection. And whereas the Lions relieve the hunger by organizing food drives and projects to feed the hungry, to help alleviate hunger by planning events to collect and distribute food. And whereas the Lions protect our environment by implementing projects that improve and protect the environment, which may include organizing a highway cleanup, planting trees, or planning a community Earth Day event. And whereas it is the desire of the Parish Council and the Parish President to bring this most worthy organization to the attention of citizens of St. Charles Parish, now therefore be it resolved, we the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President do hereby proclaim March 2025 as Lions Month in St. Charles Parish. And we have Ms. Phyllis Bro and members here to accept. Anyone from the Lions Club here tonight? Okay, well, we'll be sure and get this to them. All right, moving on. File number 2025-0053, in recognition, Viola Rickner Smith, 100th birthday. Ms. Wilson.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. This is special to my heart. This is one of the matriarchs of our family. She did pass on Thursday, February 20th. In recognition, whereas it is with great joy and profound honor that we celebrate the remarkable life and 100th birthday of Mrs. Viola Rickner Smith, born February 12, 1925 in Taft, Louisiana, as she reached this significant milestone in her life. And whereas Mrs. Smith is a beloved matriarch, cherished by her family and the community, and has lived a full and rich life, marked by her unwavering strength, wisdom, love, and dedication to her family and community. And whereas Mrs. Smith is the daughter of the late Edward Richner and Ella Darrensburg Richner Jones, who laid the foundation for her values and work ethics, passing on a legacy of love, compassion, and perseverance. And whereas Mrs. Smith was united in marriage to the late Roland N. Smith, and together they built a strong and loving family that continues to thrive across 5 generations, a living testament to their shared love and commitment to family. And whereas Mrs. Smith has called the towns of Kelowna and Hornville, Louisiana, home, where she has made a significant and lasting impact on her community, always ready to help and serve others with a kind heart and an open spirit. And whereas Mrs. Smith celebrated her 100th birthday on February 12, 2025, now therefore be it resolved, we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the parish president, do hereby offer this tribute in recognition to Mrs. Viola Richner Smith on her 100th birthday. Be it further resolved that we express our deepest admiration and gratitude for the example she has set for us all as a woman of grace and love, whose life continues to inspire and touch the hearts of everyone around her. Today we have her daughter, Charlene Johnson, her son-in-law, Reverend Frank Johnson, her daughter-in-law, Alicia Smith, and other family members here.
My name is Charlene Johnson. Thank you, St. Charles Parish President and the council people that are here today. I'm so honored. I'm so grateful and thankful to the Lord that I was able to have my mother all these years. A mother is a special person. I don't care what kind of mother you have, because if she didn't bore you, you wouldn't be here. And on top of that, she was your first teacher, your first love, your first step person. When you made your first step, just go back and remember some things that you did with your mom. I remember so much with my mom. This is what has kept me these couple of days to stay with strength to do what we need to do in order to bury her on March the 3rd. But I want to say to my family and to my friends, and we have many friends and many families. Some could be here, some could not. I appreciate everything and anything everybody has done for me and my mom. My mom lived a very special, words don't even say what she did for us. And to think from 1925, with all the different changes, all the different things that went on in this country, to 2025, and still can smile and still has a spirit with her. I am so grateful and I am so thankful that these 72 years has been great to have a mom. And I'm also grateful for my father because they kept us as a core family. My father was the late Roland Nathan Smith Sr. And the two of them, with the 7 children, 6 boys, 1 girl, And I also add my son, my husband, because he became their son. I really appreciate what you have done. And Lysandra, I thank you. Lysandra is related to me. I thank you for asking, and I thank you for the time that we are here. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you.
I want to echo what my wife just said. My mother-in-law was a tremendous lady, blessed and a blessing. I got to know her some 54 years ago, and I had the privilege of caring for her since my father-in-law, Roland Smith, died in '92. She's been a staple for our family, and having her in our home has been a great blessing for me and a privilege. I want to say this one thing. She lived 100 years and 8 days. And I know to many people that may not mean much, but those 8 days in our eyes of God is a new beginning. So after 100 years of life, she now goes home to be with God. And on that 8th day, it symbolized the new beginning. And we look forward one day to being able to see her again. God bless each and every one of you, and thank you again, Sister Sandra, and St. Charles Parish Council for recognizing such a worthy woman. Thank you again. God bless you.
Thank you, and our condolences to the Smith family on the loss of Miss Viola Smith. Reports, finance and administrative activities. File number 2025-0046, Department of Parks and Recreation, Edward A. Dufresne Community Center, and Primetime Seniors. Mr. Foray has a PowerPoint for us.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the council, Parish President Jew. It really is a tough act to follow. So, St. Charles Parish Department of Parks and Recreation, our mission is to provide quality recreation programs, activities, parks, and facilities that allow all residents of St. Charles Parish to enhance their quality of life. Our funding sources are as follows. We're funded by our property tax millage. The current rate is 2.71 mils now. Recreation Construction Fund, where a developer develops a subdivision in the parish. He or she is responsible for donating land or a fee in lieu of land. Lately, we've been taking a fee because we're trying to restructure and repurpose some of the land that we currently have. And in grants, we've been fortunate over the last couple years. Some industry partners stepped up big way with many of our projects, Dow, Valero, Shell, and the state of Louisiana. So very thankful for that. Our current park structure is as follows. We sit at 51 park sites and 331 acres. Those sites includes park, boat launches, walking paths, and our Edward A. Dufresne Community Center. This is a little down from our current park, but we've been able to give some of that parkland back to the Archdiocese and our school system where we would no longer needed some of the land we currently were using or did use in the past. We currently administer and facilitate over 50 programs for our youth, adult, senior, and special athletes here in the parish. Some new programs that we have that really have been good for our youth is Super Tots that focuses on from about 18 months to 4 years old. And then we facilitated girls softball for the first time in the parish. That really went over big this summer. Now, as we continue to grow tackle football and help our high schools both on the West Bank and East Bank, we've decided to move flag football this coming year and introduce girls flag football because that's a sport that's coming nationwide in the high school. So we will start to administer and facilitate our flag football in June, and it'll act as a precursor to health and conditioning and wellness as we gear up for football. So those kids will now be able to participate in both of those activities, where before, when we did it the same time as football, it was very difficult. But to have the girls, and that word is starting to get out, being able to play flag football has been real positive. And our senior activities have really taken off, and we'll get a little, we'll talk about that briefly. So in 2024, we were able to conduct over 3,600 practices, games, rentals, and reservations within our department. So some wonderful projects in 2024, as most of you know, our West Bank Bridge Park was the new turf, the fencing, new dugout, LED lighting, tennis courts, pickleball courts, and the new scoreboards. That particular design also was awarded Outstanding Park Facility Design by Louisiana Recreation and Park Association at the annual conference in 2024, which we took a lot of pride in. Next, our West Bank Spray Park, which consists of the spray park here on the West Bank, restroom facility, walking path, additional parking, which is a huge plus to us at the community center, some bench seating, and pavilions. Now, as things change, and we also have to change, we are using this data from Placer AI. It gives us the ability to have the data on how many visitors go to each park. So let's take this. We geo-fence the property, and then we know that 183,000 people visited West Bank Bridge Park. So as we start to play with it a little more, we want to try to design it where we will be able to touch upon how many people visited the tennis courts, how many people went to the baseball field, how many people went to the pavilion. So that's coming down. So if you look at East Bank Bridge Park, we know that 80,000 people visited East Bank Bridge Park. West Bank Bridge Park, like I've said many times, is our crown jewel, and most of our activities and wonderful community enhancement events take place at the West Bank Bridge Park because it also has the size where we don't have that on the East Bank. So if you look at our 2024 parks most visited, this gives us the data going forward when we come to budget and tell you why we should spend money here, why we shouldn't spend money over here. This also is a great tool for you to use. And so as we look to repurpose some of the land that we have that doesn't get the usage, we could start doing some quality projects where we do have the visitation. So this is just a great tool for us, the council, and our administration moving forward, so we know where our tax dollars and where our grants and all that good stuff needs to be placed. So we are great stewards of the money that we received in that regard. So I broke it out, the top 20, as you could see: West Bank, East Bank, Community Center, Spillway, and Rathbone and Ormond Park. So if you look at our 2025 projects, a couple of them in full swing. East Bank Bridge Park, if we can ever get the snow and the rain to stop, we would get somewhere. That's been a challenge, but it's coming. It's coming. You know, you look at 2 days of rain, you think maybe they lose 2 days of work, but they really lose like a week because the muck they have and the drainage they're putting in is really a challenge. Our West Bank and East Bank bike path benches. We have 6 on the East Bank, 6 on the West Bank that consist of a little pad, a bench seat, a bicycle rack, and a trash receptacle. AIMA Park renovations, new fencing, fix the lights, new basketball courts. Hopefully we can find the money to cover that basketball court, new batting cage, permanent restroom, and some parking. So really excited about that. New Sarpy Park, where we got another grant from Valero for $250,000 to redo the covering on the basketball court, new fencing, new pavilion, new playground equipment. Sand volleyball courts at our Edward A. Dufresne Community Center. Our Bonnie Carey Spillway Overlook. Many of you know we used to have 2 outdoor classrooms at Wetland Watches. Unfortunately, vandalism hit. One of them was burned down. We decided probably be best, since we moved Swamp School to the front, if to have that classroom in the front where we know a lot of people visit. It'll also give us the same dynamics it did in the back. It'll overlook the swamp and the wetlands, and we could teach and the kids about why it's important we stop coastal erosion and care for our wetlands. And then Keller Street Park upgrades, which is a permanent restroom, new playground set, and some beautification. So 2025, new things we rolled out at the beginning, primetime seniors. I want to say kudos to our administration with all the things going on with the grants on a federal level with AmeriCorps. This enabled us to do a lot more for our seniors, as you know. We had many town hall meetings. We gathered that information. We saw what they wanted to do. We are rolling out a number of new things. Some of them are wins, some of them are losses, but as you learn from your losses and kind of redirect. So a lot of good stuff going on with that. And then Member Me app is an integrated app from our Easy Facility program. It allows us to promote facilities, track data, easy process to register, look at your schedules, and also notification when game cancellations, or we got to notify the masses of things that'll happen, like rain events, cancellations, all that great stuff. So really excited about that. We've kind of taken this department in a new direction, really proud of that. Now, community center, we're getting to where we almost pre-COVID levels, 60,000 people. Our highest was 65 pre-COVID. You know, number of events, over 400. Most of those are government events. Our games for volleyball, beanbag baseball, all the wonderful things. It truly acts as a multi-use facility, as you saw, the sheltering efforts during the snow and all that great stuff. So once again, this would not be possible with the support of this council and our administration. And I would like to answer any questions you may have on any of the information I just gave to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilwoman Wilson?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Fleury, thanks for letting us know how the numbers were calculated on the visits at the parks. But my question is on that Keller Street park upgrade, so you did say the permanent bathroom and the equipment, and I know I do have to send you my email on that. But one thing is that in the fall, we have the soccer teams coming into play. So when they come into play, the school does not open up the field for them to park. So they're all on Keller Street. The parking is all on Keller Street. When the residents ask the people to move their cars, they don't want to move their cars. So I know there have been some back and forth on conversations. So is there a way that somebody can let the schools open up the parking lot on both sides, on the courthouse side and on Keller Street side? Because Keller Street is always locked. The courthouse side is always open, but they come in through Keller Street. So can that be done? But my question is the $300,000 going to be enough to be able to put a permanent bathroom, because there are only the portalets there for the soccer parents or in the children to use the bathrooms? Is that going to be enough for everything to be done? And I see all of the other projects have engineering set up or even pending, and Keller Street one does not have anyone pending or anything. So do we have anyone pending?
Do it in-house, because you can take the
so that's gonna be
playground out.
in-house.
We can purchase the playground. We're probably going to save, what, $50,000? So that money goes right back to that park instead of paying an architect or engineer.
Okay.
It's not that big of a project, where AIM is close to $1 million.
Okay.
So that would be my answer there.
And what about the bathroom?
It used to be easier to open the gates with the school system, but now, as you probably know, every school has a different lock.
Yeah, they have a different lock.
That's very challenging. It's not easy.
And I can
So-
tell you, when they're parked on Keller Street, if there needs to be, like a fire truck have to go down, it's gonna be hard. Because I live on that street, so I know it's hard to, snake through. And then you have kids running, so they definitely have to drive slow, whether it's the parents or even the residents that live in that area. So it's really, really hard for the residents to just, when they see soccer coming, I get phone calls.
Yeah.
Because the
That's
soccer.
a good thing. That's a good sight, though,
Yeah.
They're being active, and they're not tearing anything up. But anyway, look, we gave them keys, and then all the locks changed. So just like at J.B. Martin, when we do our soccer on Saturday mornings, the soccer board has keys. They open it up, and then they lock the gate. So we'll do what we have to do. It sounds easy. That's not an easy task,
Right. So will the bathrooms need any engineerings or anything, or that still could be in-house?
Constructed drop-in unit that looks a little better than the current ones we have.
Okay.
I'll send you a picture. of
Okay,
it.
all righty.
Yeah, and we thought it'd be 2 by 2, instead of
Okay.
1 by 1, because we do have more people there.
Yeah, it's a lot of people that be there when it comes for soccer. It's a lot. Okay, all right.
All right, Councilwoman Fisher.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dwayne, can you kind of give us a little brief update on Bethune? Matt shared some pictures and seen a couple of things, but where we kind of standing on Bethune?
Bethune is close to wrapping up, coming with the substantial completion. Unfortunately, we hit a lull with the covering, supply issues. That was supposed to be delivered in February. It's not coming till April. We should start the construction of the playground beginning of March. So that should be wrapped up, I'd say 3 to 4 weeks. And then once April hits, we get the covering. It's starting to look good. The problem is we've had so much rain and we've put some drainage improvements, but until that grass grows, you won't get the full effect of that. And we do have some more land work to do, but we're very close and it should be ready to go for baseball and softball season.
Thank you.
But playground set should be done by the end of March. Hopefully the covering, the end of April. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Fisher. Dwayne, I wanted to thank you, Parish President Jewell, Mr. Dewey, for getting the West Bank and East Bank bike path benches project
Yeah, that's been on the
going.
book quite a while.
Yes, that is former Councilwoman Cooley's pet project, so I'm happy to see that it looks like it's slated to begin next quarter, and appreciate all of y'all's efforts to
Well, it
get there.
started. We do have some challenges we face, and as you know well.
High River.
High River.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That-
you said it, I didn't want to say it.
That every year seasonal challenge.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank y'all, appreciate it.
File number 2025-0047, Parish President's Remarks Report. Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairwoman. And just to piggyback on what Dwayne just said, construction projects within 1,500 feet of the levee are supposed to cease when the river hits 11 feet. By the beginning of March, it's supposed to be, we're there right now. It's supposed to be over 12 feet. We have applied for waivers for our projects. Whether they get, approved or not, that is to remain to be seen, but we have applied for waivers up to 15. When the river hits 15, everything stops no matter what. So we're trying to keep these projects going for the residents and getting them done. But I just wanted to let you know that if the residents see work stop, if you get calls about work stops, it's mostly because the river is high. But again, we're trying to work through that.
Yep.
Okay. We go on to our first project, Sunset Pump Station in Bayou Gauche. Sea level construction has formed the base of the Wasky deck, and as of this afternoon, they began pouring concrete. These supports are reinforced with rebar and engineered to hold the 7 new bar screen cleaners that will be installed in the canal leading to the station. All right. Next is our concrete maintenance program. We wrapped up our 2024 concrete maintenance program, and we worked with them to be able to do more streets than we originally had planned because the project had came in under budget. Celia Drive in Luling is now complete. Aries, Scorpio, and Leo Street in Hawnville are complete. And we had several streets in Old Luling that were a part of the first phase of this project that are complete as well. This turned out to be a pretty good project. We thank the residents for their patience. I feel really bad for the residents in Old Luling because we were doing these panel replacements and Entergy decided to come in and do power line replacements at the same time, as well as the work that was going on Paul Mallard and the work that was going on at the hospital. There was a lot of work going on, but that's great because there was a lot of investment going on in that community. And so it's good news on that end. It's great news is that they've all pretty much wrapped up except for the work at the hospital. I know that's wrapping up. But this is a project or a program that we hope to continue implementing year after year to make sure that we are looking and taking care of our concrete streets just as well as we do our asphalt streets, which we will be opening the bids tomorrow on asphalt street maintenance program. Okay, GIS staff gauge installation. The GIS office has completed the installation of staff gauges at all of our major parish pump stations and major drainage canal outfalls. A total of 12 additional gauges were placed along major drainage features to monitor the water level at different points accurately. which also allows the parish to track flow rates and identify potential issues during rain events. A total of 34 gauges were installed parish-wide. The staff gauges look like basically a giant ruler, and we are able to use these to help calibrate other systems for our telemetry system. And by monitoring water levels, the parish can optimize the operation of our drainage structures like pump stations to help mitigate flood risks. It also, once again, allows us, if we are out in the middle of a storm, to be able to look at our different staff gauges within a watershed to figure out if we're having an issue in any one place. All right, March 8th, railroad crossing closure in Luling. This is important. We are starting the messaging for two projects that will be going on simultaneously, one on Judge Edward Dufresne Parkway and the other at Ashton Plantation Boulevard. Both of those crossings will be closed from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. I spoke with Union Pacific. They have talked with the sheriff's office, and our EOC is working with the sheriff's office, as well as the other first responders, to make sure that if we need to get first responders back there, that we will be able to. Union Pacific has assured us that if we need to get back there quickly, they are able to dump rocks across the crossing and get emergency vehicles back there. Obviously, with Ashton, we'll work with them on keeping the back gate open, and we'll work with the sheriff's office on a few options that they have. This work is being done to repair those two crossings, and Union Pacific has also told me, while they are requesting the 8 hours between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m., they do not believe that they are going to need that full 8 hours. So we will be working with them to monitor that as they complete those improvements. Winter storm, water bills. Want to talk about water bills coming up. We recently put this out on Facebook, and wanted to make sure that the council is aware that now it is the month past January winter storm that our Waterworks billing team is processing bills that contain water and sewer usage during the week of the freeze. If customers chose to drip their faucets, they will see a rise in their water bill. Residents can look at previous bills or sign into the customer portal to find their account number. Now, it's important to know that not everybody is billed on the exact same schedule. We have different billing cycles, and so residents will see this hit their bill at different times. So we have a chart up that we posted. If your account starts in a 1 or a 7, the bill was created on February 13th, and the consumption dates were from 12/27 to 1/27. So that would have captured the freeze. If your account number starts with a 4 or an 8, the bill was created on February 20th, and that collects water consumption from 1/6 to 2/3. If your account starts with a 2 or 5, February 27th was when your bill was created. That collects water. The meter reading time frame on that would have been consumption dates between 1/13 and 2/10. Bills that start with a 3 or a 6, your bill will be created on March 6th. And that will capture the time from 1/20, the day before the snowstorm, through the 17th of February. Waterworks is looking at the consumptions and have attempted to contact locations where we've seen really large increases in usage, to make sure that we preemptively catch any possible leaks or anything else like that. If your consumption was much higher than normal and you have already made repairs to a broken water line, we need our residents to email us at service@scpwater so that we can begin the process of applying a leak adjustment. We also ask that you be sure to include your contact information, your service address, and any copies of receipts as proof of a repair taking place. Next, community service recognitions. Want to just take a moment to say that our community service office received an award. The State Community Action Conference and state meetings, they received 2 recognitions for their outstanding service to the people of St. Charles Parish. The department was recognized by the Louisiana Workforce Commission for achieving 100% of the federal organizational standards for programs and services under community service block grants. In addition, Director Joan Diaz received a plaque from the Louisiana Association of Community Action Partnership, the ACAP, for her advocacy work with the state association and our team delivering innovative services. Congratulations to Joan and the entire department for these awards. I know they've worked very hard making sure that the people in St. Charles Parish who truly need that extra assistance, that they do get it. All right, next we have Director Dwayne Foray named as District 1 LRPA Chairman. Our Dwayne Foray was just named as the chairperson for the Louisiana Recreation and Parks Association for District 1. It's an organization of local parks departments around the state that work to make all public spaces more beautiful and enjoyable for the residents of Louisiana. We look forward to leveraging this partnership to bring positive advancements to our department and the community. You know, I just want to say congrats to Dwayne. Want to say, what next is the Swamp School registration, calling all parents for Swamp School. Swamp School is a very, very, very popular summer camp that we have. First sessions, Swamp School registration opens Saturday at midnight. The registrations fill up very quickly. So we want to make sure, if you want to make sure your campers have a space there, please be sure to log on promptly and be ready to secure your spot. Registration for each subsequent session will open each Saturday in March. So be sure to log in and register for those sessions. For more information, please visit the scpparksandrec.com. Thanks to another extremely generous donation by Shell Norco. The boardwalk through the Wetland Watchers and to the Bayou LaBranche will be repaired after it was damaged in Hurricane Ida in 2021. In addition, the donation, Shell partnered with the Pontchartrain Conservancy to help 95 Shell volunteers plant 1,000 bald cypress trees along the shoreline of Wetland Watchers and the Norco community. This initiative was supported by a $20,000 donation to Shell Norco by the Pontchartrain Conservancy, and it's going to help fortify the coastline against future storms while enhancing our park's natural beauty. We want to go switch our gears to primetime seniors. Chair yoga has been a huge success, and therefore we have worked with the Primetime Seniors Program to schedule classes every Tuesday at 11 a.m. at the Edward A. Dufresne Community Center until at least mid-November. This class is a great way to experience gentle stretching, movement, relaxation with no experience or equipment required. To see all of the events scheduled for Primetime Seniors, please visit www.scpparksandrec.com/primetime. We do have Mardi Gras dances this week. Parks and Recreation will host two very special events this week at the Edward A. Dufresne Community Center to get residents into the carnival spirit. On Thursday, the Senior Mardi Gras dance will take place from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. The doors open at 10:30. SCP seniors will listen to music by Ryan Foray and the Foray Tradition, socialize, as well as have a great time. Thanks to the Council on Aging, the United Way, and St. Charles Parish Schools Foundation for their participation with this event. On Friday, the Community Center will also host the annual ARC Mardi Gras Dance in coordination with the ARC of St. Charles Parish and SCP Public Schools. Thanks to our dedicated Parks and Recreation staff for working as a team to host two significant community events within less than 24 hours of each other. And then this weekend, we have St. Charles Parish parades. The Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness is working with our local crews, Crew of Louisville and Crew of DeSalmons, as well as GOSEP, the Sheriff's Office, the Fire Departments, EMS, to ensure that everybody has a safe and enjoyable Mardi Gras here in St. Charles Parish. Just a few reminders before you head to the routes this weekend. Please refrain from driving or parking on levees. Our ground is wet, and from the recent rains, we don't want to do any damage to the MRL system. Do not fly drones over crowds or near the parade route. Our EOC does have drone detection software, and they will work with the Sheriff's Office to find you, and the Sheriff's Office will cite you. It's against the law, and we just want to make sure that our residents are not putting the public at risk unnecessarily. And with that, I'll just say we hope everyone has a wonderful and safe Mardi Gras. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Parish President Jewell, and congratulations to Ms. Diaz and staff and Mr. Foray. All right. Ordinances, resolutions introduced for publication, public hearing. Monday, March 10th, 2025 at 6 p.m., the Council Chambers, Courthouse, Cornville. 2025-0049, 2025-0050, 2025-0051, 2025-0052, 2025-0054, 2025-0055, 2025-0056, 2025-057, 2025-058, and 2025-059. Planning and zoning petitions, file number 2025-0019, an ordinance to amend the St. Charles Parish zoning ordinance of 1981 to change the zoning classification from R1AM to R2 on lots 35 and 36, Square E, Oak Ridge Park subdivision, 925 and 935 Paul Frederick Drive, Luling, as requested by Danny Alexander. Mr. Albert.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This request is to go from single-family with mobile homes to two-family residential. The department, as well as the Planning Commission, recommend approval. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Albert. File number 2025-0019 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak on behalf of this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, oh, sure.
I'm Danny Alexander, and Alexander, I'm
Your address.
lifelong parish resident, and I have some mobile homes over there right now. They've always been occupied, but right now they kind of like falling apart, and I don't really want to reinvest in those mobile homes. I was looking to maybe build something that's a little bit more comfortable, firm, that's not going to deteriorate as quickly.
And what's your address, Mr. Alexander?
I'm the address of this property is
No, your address.
I live at 831 South Fashion Boulevard.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. If there's anyone else who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Okay, seeing none, public hearing is now closed. Any council discussion? Councilwoman Wilson.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. This is in my district, and I do know Danny does have several rental properties on that street, but he does want to move this to single-family homes. And with the upgrades to Paul Frederick, what's going to be going on, it is going to bring an enhancement to the neighborhood, so I do ask for your support.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman Wilson. Any other council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2025-0019. And that passes unanimously. File number 2025-0020, an ordinance to amend the St. Charles Parish zoning ordinance of 1981 to change the zoning classification from R1A to M1 on Lot 127X, Côte de France, 16076 Highway 631, Parity, as requested by Pether Alonso. Mr. Albert.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This request seeks to go from single-family residential to light manufacturing. The department, as well as the Planning Commission, recommend denial. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Albert. File number 2025-0020 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
My name is Bertha Barfield, and I live at 122 Highway 635, and I would like to register my opposition for the change from R1 to M1. This is a residential neighborhood bounded on both sides by R1. There are families there with young children, and I believe that any change at this point would really sort of would be negatively impactful upon the area. I also believe that by changing it to an M1, it would probably negatively affect the value of the properties that are now there. So I strongly support the denial of the change from R1 to M1.
Thank you, Ms. Barfield. If there's anyone else who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Donald Moyer, 104 Highway 635. I live at the opposite end of the street of Ms. Barfield. That's at the end of our street on Old Spanish Trail, and I hope y'all deny that because it is a residential. We have we have young kids that play right there, and we have enough traffic up and down that road from the gas plant. with them 18-wheelers. I know it's a state highway, but it's still a residential area. We have 5 families that live there. We don't need a warehouse at the end of our street. I hope y'all deny it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. If there's anyone else who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Mr. Boland Jr., 143 South Kimler Street in Boucher, Louisiana. Also the pastor of Antioch Baptist Church. We own that property that's adjacent to the applicant here, and I just want to stand with the community and hoping you will deny this. When I asked the question what could be put there, I heard some of the answers, and I didn't agree with that. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. If there's anyone else who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
My name is Sarah Sims Touchard. I live at 15305 Highway 90 in Parity, and I am opposed to this change. We worked hard to change from light industrial to residential years ago, and the property is adjacent to a historic graveyard. There's a lot of history in this land. In addition, it would change, and I feel negatively affect the property value in that area. I have a piece of land directly across the street from this piece of property, which will soon go on sale. And I don't want the value to drop. It is a very historic area, and I feel that that change would make it, would work negatively in the area. I vote against the change and for the zoning board's recommendation.
Thank you, Ms. Touchard. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. All right, seeing none, public hearing is now closed. Any council discussion? Mr. Commerdale.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Council members, you should see some printouts that Ms. Bastato put on your pamphlets. I didn't like the maps that were shown in our package. I found that they were inaccurately representing the location of this property, so I wanted you to see a bigger picture, just to make an accurate judgment on this. As you see, starting on the north side of the Williams facility, there's the dark purple. There's over 300 acres of M2 property. And then when you go south of Highway 635, there's another 132 acres of M1 property. So what this represents is about 427 acres that has historically been manufacturing. It's also shown on our comprehensive map that this 430 acres remains commercial M1 and M2. And there's a small portion of Highway 635, 8 acres out of 427 acres, that is residential. At some point in a previous administration, 2006, this 1 acre parcel that was M1 was changed to R1A. This parcel is blocked in by a railroad on the west side, a state highway on the east side, an M1 property on the north, and an M1 property on the south. So very commonly, just common sense, if my neighbor is M1 on the left and my neighbor is M1 on the right, a railroad's behind me and a highway's in front of me, why can't I be M1? I don't know what the expectations is on this property. I don't know the person filling out this documentation, but I can't see how we can tell someone that you can't be what your neighbor is on both sides. So when you look at this, if you look just at the west side of Highway 631, there's 42 acres. Of that 42 acres,
Mr. Steve Nakhan has 2 acres of open land. Everything else is M1, except for this 1 acre parcel. And I've had some conversations with Mr. Albert about the criterias for our planning and zoning when it says it does not meet the area, and this would be a spot zone. When you look at 400 acres and it's all commercial, M1, M2, how does changing 1 more acre make it a spot zone? I think the 8 acres of residential was a spot zone at some point in time. Now, prior to 1955, this was County Road 1520. It was built to access the oil field roads that exist behind the railroad tracks. 1955, it was turned to Highway 635. If you travel Highway 635, it's the same design as Highway 306, very wide when it hits Highway 631 to access these 18-wheelers and these trucks. I know because I grew up on Highway 306, right there next to the Texaco plant. There's about 25 18-wheelers that come in from the west of Highway 90 and turn down 635 every day. There's a high-pressure gas pipeline that crosses underneath Highway 635 and runs right through these houses. All existed before the residents. I do feel the residents' concerns. However, this was an industrial area prior to those lots being zoned R1A. And as a district councilman, I'm going to support the rezoning.
Thank you, Councilman Cummerdell. Parish President Jewell.
Thank you, Chairwoman. I just want to mention, I just don't want it to be anybody to mischaracterize the department here. I normally don't get involved in rezoning process because that is a power that has been bestowed to our governing authority, the parish council. And I'm not going to pass my judgment one way or the other on this here tonight. I just want to mention that when we print this document here, very similar to the one you saw on the screen, we normally use a 1 in 200 scale. So you see the top right of your document there, 1 inch equals 200 feet. If you go to the previous rezone that y'all just looked at and approved, 1 inch equals 200 feet. If you zoom out far enough, you're going to hit multiple zones. And I just want to mention that nothing nefarious was done in an attempt to sway one way or the other. And I trust the process that the planning commission, the planning department took, like they take on every other zoning that they do.
Thank you, Parish President Jewell. Councilwoman O'Daniels.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate the explanation. Sometimes it's important for the council to actually zoom out a bit to see what's going on with a particular piece of property, as well as look at the previous reason why this was M1 and later converted to R1A. I did review all those documents because I was curious as to why something on the corner of 2 highways would be considered R1A, and under that circumstance, it appears that when it was turned R1A, in my opinion, it was spot zone R1A out of an M1 situation, and now we're kind of trying to keep status quo for the reasons stated in the department's report. However, to alleviate the concerns of the residents, I can tell you that there is a substantial community on the East Bank that has manufacturing very close to it, both in the back as well as tons of trucks going by every single day. That is some of the most expensive real estate in this parish. So I don't believe that changing this to M1 is necessarily, which is light manufacturing, is necessarily going to affect property values as stated, and also believe it looks to me like a spot zone from the past that needs to be rectified. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman O'Daniels. Councilman Fisher.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Albert, so uses for M1, cemeteries are M1s, correct, in our zoning?
Yes.
And we've looked at a few of those in St. Rose. We looked at them in Munson. We looked at that. And I guess we don't have anything. Did M1, I guess going back to 81 when we did the ordinances and everything that, and I think that's what Mr. Carmdale's kind of referring to, is that M1 zoning might have been on that highway split like that. But was there ever any chance that the cemetery was going to expand? Is that why the M1 kind of maybe did that, or that was because the gas plant was there?
I couldn't say for certain.
There's all evidence.
Okay, thank you.
Any other council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2025-0020. And that passes with Councilman Mobley and Fonseca voting nay. File number 2025-0021, an ordinance to amend the St. Charles Parish zoning ordinance of 1981 to change the zoning classification from C1 to R1AM on a portion of Lot 1 of the PR Vicnair property, 167 Post Street, Kelowna, as requested by Bruce Petrie and Robin Rogers. Mr. Albert.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This request seeks to go from general commercial to single-family with mobile homes. This corrects a noticeable spot zone within the neighborhood. The department, as well as the Planning Commission, recommend approval.
Thank you, Mr. Albert. File number 2025-0021 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Okay, seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Councilwoman Wilson.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. This, again, is in my district as well, and I do ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Wilson. Any other council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2025-0021. And that passes unanimously. File number 2025-0022, an ordinance to amend the St. Charles Parish zoning ordinance of 1981 to change the zoning classification from C2 to C3 on Lot 25A, Good Hope subdivision, Annex C, 196 Good Hope Street, Norco, as requested by Malcolm Darrensburg III for MAD Third LLC. Mr. Albert.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This request seeks to go from neighborhood commercial to highway commercial. The department found that it did not meet the 3 criteria and recommended denial. The Planning Commission also recommends denial.
Thank you, Mr. Albert. File number 2025-0022 is now open for public hearing. If there is anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Councilman Fisher.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, this is on Good Hope Street. As you can see, the revitalization of it. A lot of public opposition. Basically, it's a commercial area which can be put into value. The shop, the guy that bought it was very, very good for it and definitely made the old Atlanta gas station look good. But again, the uses that it has C2, so there's not any restriction in commerce, the C2 resolution, but definitely heard a lot from my constituents asking us to keep it C2 and to keep it as a commercial property. So I'd appreciate you taking the Planning Commission's denial and the Planning and Zoning offices to deny it.
Thank you, Councilman Fisher. Councilwoman Wilson.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to abstain from this item here because it is a family last name.
Thank you, Councilwoman Wilson. Councilwoman O'Daniels.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to point out that in contrast to the last one we talked about having to do with being on commercial highway, this one is not, and therefore it does not meet the criteria. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman O'Daniels. Any other council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2025-0022. And that does not pass. It fails with Councilwoman Wilson abstaining. Ordinance is scheduled for public hearing, introduced at the previous meeting. File number 2025-0024, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of Amendment Number 1 to Ordinance Number 23-7-7, which approved a professional services agreement with Bryant Hammett and Associates LLC to perform additional surveying services for the Texaco Road Survey, project number P230601, in the lump sum amount of $21,015. Mr. Bingham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a additional survey. We did originally a topographic survey. As we got into the project a little further, we figured out that we needed to also get some property lines on the canal itself because we had some issues in the Primrose Canal where people's property lines were. So we decided to go back and add those property lines, and we'd appreciate your support.
Thank you, Mr. Bingham. File number 2025-0024 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2025-0024. And that passes unanimously. File number 2025-0025, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a change order number 1 for the St. Charles Parish East Bank Water Treatment Plant Hurricane Ida repairs, project number WWKS 109, to increase the contract amount by $134,919 and to increase the contract time by 50 days. Mr. Gordon.
Good evening, members of the council, Parish President Jewell, Greg Gordon, Director of Waterworks. As the administration comment states, that as the ordinance is going to increase the contract amount by $134,889 and the contract time by 50 days. Largely, most of the work order and the change order for the project dealt with the roof of the East Bank treatment plant. That's the control building right there. Originally, as part of the bid, it was to repair the roof and just the section of the roof that was damaged. However, that roof was somewhat outdated and we cannot find the parts and pieces in order to do that. So basically, we had to redo the entire roof and the gutters around it. Also, there was an issue with the metal building that was bid out to do. We did the metal building, however, because it was just kind of a standard metal building with some of the South Central planning requirements for a metal building, it had to be redesigned a little, and we had to hot dip galvanize the outside of the building in order to redo the lean-to, and those are the issues that were in it. The project turned out very well, considering the amount of the total project cost and the damage that was done to the building. I'm here to answer any questions.
All right, file number 2025-0025 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2025-0025. And that passes unanimously. File number 2025-0026, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a change order number 3, final, for the Destrehan Pump Station number 2, conveyance improvements, project number P181101, to decrease the contract amount by $64,132.57. Mr. Bingham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I always like these because they are ending a project on a good note. The final project number for this was $9,147,542.43. As the council chair said, this is a deduction at the end of the project, so we would appreciate your support.
Thank you, Mr. Bingham. File number 2025-0026 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2025-0026. And that passes unanimously. File number 2025-0027, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of Amendment Number 1 to Ordinance Number 20-8-13, which approved engineering services agreement between NY Associates, Inc. to facilitate requested changes at the intersection of Carriage and Dunleith Canals for the Carriage-Dunleith Canals drainage structure, project number P-200-706, in the amount of $44,403, resulting in an overall contract value not to exceed $473,378. Mr. Bingham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On this one, in 2020, when we first looked at this project, we thought we would use a concrete flume for the channel to channelize this area where two canals met. After looking at it a little bit further in recent time, we decided that we could do the same thing with sheet pile. It will cut out the cost of bypass pumping. We can actually drive the sheet piles, and we will save money in the construction on this project. So we would appreciate your support for this little bit of engineering just to change something that we think we can make better in construction.
Thank you, Mr. Bingham. File number 2025-0027 is now open for public hearing. If anyone would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Councilman Pelier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I had looked at this, and at first it looked like a bookkeeping issue that I couldn't get my mind around. So I looked back at the budget that we had. I looked back at what was originally estimated. I'll echo what Mr. Bingham said. Not only does this not require pumping to do a concrete flume, you don't have a cofferdam that's going to interfere with the flow during the process, and it's going to be considerably cheaper. So I kind of drilled down on it, and I had sent something today through the council secretary. It may be more confusing than I thought it would be, but the bottom line is this is going to be a savings, and what's in the budget from 2025 covers this. So what we'd be talking about is if you had a resident engineer requirement, you still have some surplus beyond what the cost of this would be. And I think it's a wonderful exercise in not only saving money, but protecting the public. I appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Pelier. Any other council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2025-0027. And that passes unanimously. File number 2025-0028, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of change order number 2 final for the DeSalmans Phase 1 bulkhead, project number P210601, to decrease the contract amount by $118,000.72 and decrease the contract time by 16 calendar days, for a total contract price of $6,949,452.71, and a total contract time of 253 calendar days. Mr. Bingham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is, again, a change order, final change order, so that we can close out a project. We had a decrease in the final cost, but we did have an amendment in this contract that I want to point out that where we, a change order number 1, where we actually added the finalization of the original emergency bulkhead. And that was a valuable thing that we could do in this contract, and it made this contract even better. So we would appreciate your support.
Thank you, Mr. Bingham. File number 2025-0028 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2025-0028. And that passes unanimously. File number 2025-0029, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a contract with Thompson Consulting Services, LLC, for storm debris monitoring 2024 project number P241002. Mr. Bing, I'm sorry, Mr. Palamone.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is to get our storm debris monitoring contractor on board. We advertised in late '24 and reviewed the proposals that were received. We received 5. We established a selection committee that had 2 DPW staff members, contract manager, myself, and the parish attorney observe the process. We scored and documented it all in accordance with the federal guidelines, because if and hopefully we don't need these folks, we will have to get reimbursement from FEMA. So with that, we are asking you to support the selection of Thompson for the debris contract monitoring.
Thank you, Mr. Palamone. File number 2025-0029 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Councilman Pilier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is just, I'd love to know how you come up with a $331.50 contract award, but it doesn't make any difference. I mean, I
One of many factors.
Okay.
Cost was a factor. We had cost as a factor, resources were a factor, and technical scoring from their proposal. Cost was 30 points, resources 35, and technical was 35. We rated them all on each of those individuals and scored them up. So the maximum you can get is 100.
And so what I'm talking about here on page 226, $331.50. I mean, is there, I've never seen anything like that, so I'm just kind of, that's a rating system? Is that what you're saying?
That's what that's the total scoring on their cost proposal.
Okay.
331 was one, we had 532, we had 372, 343, it ranged.
Okay. I get it.
Be happy to show you the scores if you want, I'll send them to you.
I'm not that interested. I've just never seen something like contract awards in here at $331.50. That's all.
Again, as I mentioned, we had to follow federal guidelines in case we have to get FEMA reimbursements.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Pilier. Councilwoman O'Daniels.
And thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Palamone, could you just say for the public record, storm debris monitoring? We have a lot of storm debris contracts, and they're for, public buildings, storm. What is this particular storm debris monitoring?
This is basically, should we have a storm and we have debris from homes, trees, so forth, DRC collects that. These folks monitor DRC and the loads that they bring to the dump so that we can get credit back on that.
Okay, so this is for the residential and,
Yeah.
okay, versus public buildings, which we have another
Correct.
contract for that. Just wanted to make sure.
And we don't do commercial, so that's not included in this. That would be something separate.
Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman O'Daniels. Mr. Palamone, could you and Mr. Oob take a look at the first page of the contract on page 194? I just want to make sure that's not a typo. Fourth paragraph says this agreement shall be effective for an initial 3-year term beginning February 1st, 2024. Should that be 2025? The paragraph above it says February 1st, 2025.
Yeah. Yes.
So we need to correct that. Okay. Can I get a motion in a second to amend the contract page, the first page, fourth paragraph? First sentence to read, this agreement shall be effective for an initial 3-year term beginning February 1st, 2025 and expiring December 31st, 2027, and can be extended by written mutual agreement of the parties for up to 3 additional 1-year terms. Motion by Councilwoman O'Daniels, second by Councilwoman Skiba. Can we address your question after the motion? Is it related to?
Yes, it's related to the motion. So it's also in the hit lead paragraph.
Oh, you found it somewhere else.
It says storm debris monitoring 2024, and also in 2.0, 2.1 also dictates 2024. So the whole
Okay.
thing.
I think it's 2024 because it was advertised for bid in December of 2024.
Okay.
That's not related to the actual contract timeframe.
Yeah, if you look, the project number is P24. We advertised in late
Advertised.
'24.
Right, okay.
If it's a three-year term, if it's a three-year term, would it not be till 2028?
December 23rd.
It's all at 2035, all at 26, all at 27.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So it shouldn't be 28.
It should be 28.
No.
No, if it's February 25, 25 to 26, 26 to 27, and 27 to 28.
No, but it expires December 31st, 2027.
I understand.
Hurricane seasons, we're looking at hurricane seasons.
No, you're right. Okay, it's correct. So then there's just that one change, unless anyone has anything else. Okay, so we do have a motion by Councilwoman O'Daniel, second by Councilwoman Skiba. File number 2025-0029 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding the amendment, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Okay, seeing none, please cast your votes to amend file number 2025-0029. And that passes unanimously. Now we're going to open file number 2025-0029 as amended for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Okay, seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any further council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2025-0029 as amended. Okay, and that passes unanimously. File number 2025-0030, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement with Alpha Testing and Inspection, Inc. for testing and inspection services for the capital project testing and inspection, project number P250107, in the not-to-exceed amount of $250,000. Mr. Bingham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a task order contract that we use, that we'd like to have put in place. We do a lot of testing throughout the year for lots of different construction projects. It can also be used for wastewater and waterworks and anyone else that needs it. And they can issue it as a task order with a project number and a project name, and it'll get charged to their account. It's easier to set it up this way rather than doing a whole lot of smaller contracts throughout the year. And we'd appreciate your support.
Thank you, Mr. Bingham. File number 2025-0030 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2025-0030. And that passes unanimously. File number 2025-0031, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement with Terracon Consultants, Inc. to perform engineering services for roadway coring 2025. Project number P250106 in the not-to-exceed amount of $100,000. Mr. Bingham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is another task order contract. We use this for our concrete and asphalt road programs. We can go out and take a coring of the road and get the thickness so we know what we need to do to repair it or to, overlay and overlays. So we would appreciate your support of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bingham. File number 2025-0031 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2025-0031. And that passes unanimously. File number 2025-0032, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of Amendment Number 2 to Ordinance Number 21-4-7, which approved a professional services agreement with GIS Engineering LLC to perform engineering services for the Munns Pump Station Project Number P210301 in the amount not to exceed $797,379.50, which increases the overall contract value to $1,525,535.50. Mr. Bingham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before we go into the details of this, I wanted to mention that I got several questions about which pump station this was in Munns. This is Munns Pump Station Number 1, and I would recommend that we change in the ordinance and also the amendment, the name, the title of this, to read pump station, the Munns Pump Station Number 1, and then thereon. So if we could do that as an amendment to this, that would be appreciated.
Okay.
If you want to do that first, and then I can go on.
Let's go ahead and do that. All right, so we have an amendment request from the administration to amend the ordinance everywhere in 4 places. I believe it says Munns Pump Station project number. We're going to put Munns Pump Station Number 1 and then the project number. And also on the first page of the contract, the title would need the number 1 after Munns Pump Station, and paragraph, I guess that's paragraph number 4 again. So we have a motion, excuse me, we have a motion from Councilman Commerdale, second from Councilman Fisher. File number 2025 is 2025-0032 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this amendment, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Okay, seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion on the amendment? Councilman Fisher, on the amendment?
Amendment, just to clarify, is any of this, are we going to use any of the engineering for Pump Station 2? Is that the plan?
No.
All the engineering on 1 to transfer it over to 2?
We have used, we have actually used some of it, but this, in putting the stations together, but they have 2 separate engineering contracts. So it has been a little confusing at times, but this one has its own contract. The other one has it. Yes, there has been, looking at, in the design process, we've used information from either one, but they also have separate areas and, where they are, so they really needed to be looked at separately.
Any engineering for 2 by making this change?
No, sir, it should not.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Fisher. Any other council discussion? Okay, seeing none, please cast your votes to amend file number 2025-0032. Okay, and that amendment passes unanimously. File number 2025-0032, as amended, is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Okay, seeing none, public hearing is closed. Before I go to council discussion, I'm going to let Mr. Bingham chime in on the things he wanted to add.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. This amendment is for the construction of the project. And this is a very large project, and we're going to need a lot of oversight with the engineering. We're going to have a resident inspector out there. So a lot of the funding that we're putting in now is for that effort. So that's why it's such a big number. That's really all I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bingham. Any council discussion on the ordinance as amended? Councilman Pelier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a clarification, Mr. Bingham, we have, being that this is the engineering oversight, you have the construction phase at $380,786, but then we have the resident project representative services at $482,982. This is basically both in support of the construction phase, correct?
That's correct. The first one that you mentioned is the actual engineering effort that you would see by the engineering firm where they do change orders and keep track of everything. the actual project representative is the person that is out there on a daily basis.
Yeah, I guess my first reaction when I saw that figure is that 482,982 is a bunch of money. And it turns out that equates to 357 actual days, according to this document here, which equates to $169 an hour, which still seems like a lot of money. Can you speak to that?
Yes, sir. One of the things that happens in a lot of these projects is you have overtime. You cannot, the contractor works extra time. So you have to build in some additional time for the project representative to be there on overtime, and that does get charged at a higher rate. And it's better to have the money in the contract than to have to come back and ask for it later. That they will only use what they bill, and that has to go through my department and be approved by my department, which will watch it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilman Pilier. Any other council discussion? All right, please cast your votes for file number 2025-0032 as amended. And that passes unanimously. File number 2025-0033, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement with Baroka and Benura Engineers and Consultants LLC to perform engineering services for the Cousins Canal Bank Stabilization, project number P241103, in the not-to-exceed amount of $618,000. Mr. Bingham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, we have a short amendment on this one in attachment A, which is on 291 of your agenda. There is a statement that says Phase 2, Primrose Drive to Blue and Canal Pump Station. Blue and Canal is actually the canal that runs along there, and it should be actually, that is, the title of that pump station is Cousins Pump Station. So we'd like to take out Blue and Canal and change it to Cousins Pump Station.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bingham, and I'll come back to you. We have a motion by Councilman Comardell and second by Councilwoman DeBruyer to do the amendment requested by the administration to change in attachment A in the second paragraph, and also by Phase 2, the Blue and Canal Pump Station should be Cousins Canal Pump Station. So file number 2025-0033 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding the amendment, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, please cast your votes to amend file number 2025-0033. And that passes unanimously. Mr. Bingham, do you have anything to add?
Just that this is a large sheet pile project. It will sheet pile the whole stretch from Heather to the station, and then back from Heather back to the Lakewood Pump Station. And this will also support the Texaco Road, which is a very important thing. And we will, that will be a separate project. So we would appreciate your support.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bingham. File number 2025-0033, as amended, is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. All right, seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion on the ordinance as amended? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2025-0033.
Could have.
That passes unanimously. File number 2025-0034, an ordinance of the Parish of St. Charles, providing that the Code of Ordinances, Parish of St. Charles, be amended by revising Section 15-5, Motor Vehicles and Traffic, of said code to provide for the installation of no parking signs on both sides of William Street in Booty. Mr. Carmadell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've had several residents contact me about this. So this is just behind, if you guys are familiar with the Bamboo Garden, this is the cross street that comes from Domino's over to the Majuras Supermarket. A lot of residential traffic from the Magnolia Ridge area going back and forth. Recently, they've had a number of road blockings by commercial 18-wheelers delivering to those businesses. There is a big grass field where they could pull off behind the building and they could pull off on side of Highway 90. However, it's a curve, kind of an S-curve on the street, very hard to navigate. And there's been some recent issues. A couple of residents have reached out to me. So I'd like to propose putting these no parking signs there to try to get this commercial traffic from blocking that residential street.
Thank you, Councilman Carmadell. File number 2025-0034 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2025-0034. That passes unanimously. Appointments. This is just an announcement. File number 2025-0048, a resolution appointing a member to the St. Charles Parish Library Board of Control as District 1 representative. On Monday, March 10th, 2025, Council Chairman will accept nominations from the District 1 council member to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Ms. Charlene Alexander Armstrong. Term to begin April 1st, 2025, and expire April 1st, 2030. Meetings, announcements, notices, etc. Meetings. Housing Authority, February 25th, 2025 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers. Hospital Service District Number 1, Wednesday, February 26, 2025 at 2 p.m. council chambers. Lafourche Basin Levy District, March 5th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Lafourche Basin Levy District Office, 21380 Highway 20, Vacherie. Planning and Zoning Commission, Thursday, March 6, 2025 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers. Communications District 911, Monday, March 10th, 2025 at 5 p.m. at the 911 Center, 222 Joe Louis Lane in Hornville. St. Charles Parish Council, Monday, March 10th, 2025 at 6 p.m. council chambers. Announcements. Crew of Lowell Parade, Saturday, March 1st, 2025, 12 p.m. in Luling. Crew of Desalmans Parade, Sunday, March 2nd, 2025, 1 p.m. in Desalmans. Parish Holiday, Monday, March 3rd, 2025, President's Day observed. Parish Holiday, Tuesday, March 4th, 2025, is Mardi Gras. Okay, important dates for the Louisiana Constitutional Amendments and Special District 6 Justice of the Peace, March 29th, 2025 election. Wednesday, February 26, 2025 will be the last day to register to vote in person or by mail. Saturday, March 8, 2025 will be the last day to register to vote online at govote.com. Early voting is Saturday, March 15, 2025. Closed on Sunday, March 16, 2025. Monday, March 17th through Saturday, March 22nd, 2025. At 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m., early voting will be held on the West Bank at the courthouse, 15045 River Road in Hornville, also on the East Bank at the Arterberry Building, 14564 River Road, New Sarpy. Tuesday, March 25th, 2025 will be the last day to request absentee by mail ballots. Friday, March 28th, 2025 will be the last day for the registrar to receive voted absentee ballots. Saturday, March 29th, 2025 is Election Day. Polls will be open 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Adjournment. A motion and a second is needed to adjourn. We have a motion by Councilwoman DeBrouillet, a second by Councilwoman Wilson. Please cast your votes to adjourn.
Fast fingers.
And that passes unanimously. Have safe and happy Mardi Gras. We are officially adjourned.